Hello and welcome to our channel. We collect and study reports based on true stories from around the world dealing with strange and peculiar events. To protect the identity of the individuals involved, names and some minor facts have been altered to tell the story. Case file number 152, category Past Life Regression. Location Titanic.
Several years ago, I came across a strange book by Dr. Brian Weiss. It was called Many Lives, Many Masters, and he wrote about how he used a form of hypnosis. It's now called a past life regression therapy to find out the cause of his clients' anxiety problems. At first, the doctor wasn't trying to discover anything about a past life. He didn't even know it existed. But he had a client who started talking about seeing events from her past life when she went under his hypnosis. Eventually, the doctor and his client discovered that all of us have lived before, many, many times over. I always became intrigued by this book and started my own research into past life regression. I spent many years mastering the techniques, and I became a counselor and started my own practice. At first, I was doing more traditional talk therapy, but people started to discover about past life regressions through books and movies, and I started to get clients who wanted to try it. After a while, my reputation grew. Now, most of my clients come for the past life regression therapy, and I try to combine this with the traditional therapy to find the perfect balance. Today was another typical day, where I had 3 booked appointments on my schedule. These were all new first-time clients. I knew nothing about them, and I had never met them before. My first session was with a man who was looking for a reason why he felt uncomfortable to swim. It wasn't that he didn't like to go near the pool or sit by a beach. He just had a genuine dislike of going inside the water, and he never understood why. I asked him to relax and started to put him under a hypnotic trance. We spent some time discovering his past life as a fisherman and some difficult relationships he had with his current brother, who was also his brother, during that past life. After taking a little break, he told me about a pain in his back that has been bothering him for many years. I asked him to stand up and let me take a look at his back. I placed my hand right above the area he had pointed to, and suddenly, an image flashed before my eyes. I saw a young lady from an upper class, somewhere in Europe around the Victorian era, and she was getting dressed to go somewhere. I heard music and saw people dancing. She was dancing too. I wondered if this was a party at some exclusive old-world restaurant with a dance floor. But no, she was actually on board a ship, a huge luxury ship. And something started to go wrong very fast. I heard a man shout, "Prepare to get off this ship, there is not much time left." The ship was sinking. That is when I realized this ship was the Titanic. I stood dumbfounded for a while, and I had forgotten about my client. Sometimes during my therapy sessions, I also receive images of my client's past life too. This time, it was just me who saw this portion of my client's past life. I told him, "I was receiving some images of your past life as a passenger on the Titanic. I saw you trying to jump into a lifeboat, but you had slipped on the floor and hit your back very hard. Then you fell into the dark, freezing ocean. I'm sorry, but you didn't survive. I think that's why you dislike being in the water. And your back pain may have something to do with your fall on the Titanic." My client asked me what he should do, and I suggested that he should go watch the movie, Titanic. It may make him relive his past life events and give him an opportunity to get his hidden emotions out. I believed that facing his past life would enable him to release his fears, and that would help his pain go away. My next 2 clients came in together for a joint session. I'll call them Mary and Joanna. They have been good friends for a long time, and they wanted to find out if they had been friends in their past life as well. Mary went first. Her main complaint was that she didn't get along too well with her father. I put her under a trance, and she explored several different past lives. Then, she started talking about being on a ship, and to my surprise, it was the Titanic again. Mary was a young Irishman in that lifetime, and he was going to New York to find a new job and start a new life. Fortunately, the young man managed to escape the sinking ship, and he was rescued by a nearby lifeboat. But he experienced a frightening ordeal swimming in the dark and freezing ocean. I read somewhere that most people who sank into the cold ocean waters didn't perish from drowning. They all actually froze almost instantly. Next, it was Joanna's turn. She complained about having a weak stomach and how her body always felt cold. She needed to keep a blanket at her office, and she wore socks when she went to bed at night. I put Joanna under a trance and asked her to relax. It didn't take long before she started talking about being trapped behind a gate. Joanna was a young man in that life who was on board a ship. Yes, it was the Titanic again. When the ship started to sink, someone had closed the gates to the lower deck level, and people were trapped there and unable to escape. Unfortunately, Joanna in that lifetime didn't survive the shipwreck. After the session, I told Joanna that her past life as a young man floating in the cold ocean waters must be having an effect on her life right now. It explains why she always felt cold. I recommended she use aromatherapy oils and work on releasing her tensions a little at a time. Then Joanna smiled and said, "You know, my birthday is the same day as when the Titanic started to sink, April 14. I saw that both Mary and Joanna were also good friends in the past life, and they worked hard to get their ticket to board the Titanic together. They spent many days daydreaming and talking about starting their new life in New York City." Then Mary said, "Well, we didn't tell you this before, but we are both planning another trip to New York City very soon. We both love going to New York." It looks like their friendship survived from the past life into this life, and their strong desire to go to New York City also carried over into this lifetime. The Titanic sank when it only had 400 more miles to reach the shores of New York. But this time around, these friends made their dream come true, together as friends, and finally reached the New York City.
And this concludes our story. Case file number 152. Closed. Thank you for watching.